$12 and change. That's what was in Elias Vance's pocket when he clocked in for the graveyard shift on a Tuesday in October. By 2:17 the next morning, that same $12 had turned into $27.4 million. And the wildest part isn't the money. The wildest part is what happened in the 7 minutes between him hitting the button and security realizing the man screaming on the casino floor was one of their own. Let me take you back. October of 2018. A place called the Silver Meridian, tucked off a service road about 40 miles outside Reno. Not a strip property, not a destination, one of those mid-tier joints that survives on truckers, weekend regulars, and the occasional bachelor party that took a wrong turn. 280 rooms, a steakhouse nobody talks about, and a casino floor with roughly 900 slot machines humming under fluorescent lights that never, ever turn off. Elias Vance was 39 years old. 6 years on the security team, second shift supervisor, the guy who walked the perimeter, checked the back of house doors, watched the eye in the sky monitors when the surveillance techs needed a coffee break. He made $19 an hour. He had a daughter in 8th grade, a leaky transmission on a 15-year-old sedan, and about $4,000 in credit card debt he was slowly, quietly drowning under. And here's the thing you need to understand about Elias. He didn't gamble. Not really. He worked in a casino, which is like working in a bakery. After a while, the smell of the bread just becomes the smell of the building. He'd drop a 20 into a video poker machine on a birthday. Maybe. Mostly, he watched other people lose their money and went home to microwaved lasagna. But that night, October 16, 2018, something was off. His break hit at 1:58 in the morning, standard 45 minutes. He walked out of the security office, past the cage, past the pit where a bored dealer was shuffling a dead blackjack table, and he did something he'd never done on a shift before. He stopped. There was a machine near the north wall, a progressive slot called Neon Pharaoh. Ridiculous name. Egyptian theme, cartoon cats, the whole thing. But the jackpot meter above it, this big glowing sign that ran along the ceiling, was reading $27.4 million, which was insane because that meter almost never climbed past 2 or 3 million before somebody hit it. This one had been building for 11 months. 11 months without a winner. Every gambler within 100 miles had been feeding that machine for the better part of a year, and nobody could crack it. Elias later told the investigators he didn't even remember deciding. He said his hand was in his pocket before his brain caught up. $12, a 10 and 2 singles. He fed the 10 into the bill acceptor. The machine chirped. He hit the max bet button. $5 a spin. 2 spins. Nothing. He pressed it a third time on the last 5 in credit. And the room tilted. Now, I want you to picture this because this is the part that gets me. Elias is standing there in a black polyester security uniform, radio on his hip, name tag. The machine is playing this obnoxious Egyptian trumpet fanfare. Lights are strobing. And the number on the top screen is climbing. 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, 17, 22. And it stops at $27,418,206. Elias didn't scream. He didn't fall to his knees. He did what a trained security guard does when something breaks the pattern on his floor. He reached for his radio. And that's where it gets interesting, because the first person to respond to the alarm on Neon Pharaoh was Elias's own shift partner, a guy named Rick Deakins. Rick comes around the corner, sees his supervisor standing frozen in front of the machine, and he assumes it's a malfunction. He starts asking Elias what the code is, what he needs to log, whether he should call the slot tech. And Elias just points at the screen. Rick looked at the number. Rick looked at Elias. Rick keyed his radio and said, quote, "I need the manager on duty at Neon Pharaoh and I need him now." Here's what most people don't know about casino jackpots of that size. The moment a machine locks up on a payout over $1 million, a very specific protocol kicks in. The eye in the sky pulls every single frame of footage of that machine going back 72 hours. Every person who touched it, every service call, every reset. The pit boss on duty logs the win. The gaming commission gets a call. At 2 in the morning, they wake somebody up. And the player, the winner, gets escorted to a private room and does not leave until the paperwork is signed. But there's a problem when the winner works for the casino. Because in Nevada gaming law, and this is the detail that almost cost Elias every penny of that money, a casino employee is generally prohibited from gambling at the property that employs them. Some states allow it off hours, off the clock, on personal time. Nevada allows it in some scenarios, but with strict conditions. And Elias Vance had hit that button while he was on the clock. On his lunch break, technically, but the clock was still running. His radio was still on. He was still, in the eyes of the state gaming board, an employee performing a shift. The Silver Meridian's general manager arrived at 2:31 in the morning, a woman named Deborah Aylward. She took one look at the screen, one look at Elias in his uniform, and she said, quote, "Nobody touches this machine. Nobody talks to anyone. We're calling legal." For the next 4 hours, Elias sat in a windowless room on the second floor of the property. Not arrested, not charged, but not free to leave either. His phone was taken, his radio was taken, his badge was taken, and at 6:40 in the morning, 3 lawyers he'd never met walked into the room and told him the casino was disputing the payout. Their argument was simple. He was on the clock. Employees can't play. Therefore, the wager was void. Therefore, the jackpot was void. Therefore, the $27.4 million belonged to whoever hit the machine next. And look, I'll be honest with you. Watching how this casino treated a guy who worked for them for 6 years, the second the money got real, that's exactly why, if I ever put my own cash into a machine, I only touch places I've personally vetted, where payouts actually clear and nobody moves the goalposts on you. Where exactly, I left in the description. Anyway, Elias walked out of that room at 7 in the morning with no money, no job, and a lawsuit filed against his own employer. The case took 14 months. The Silver Meridian's legal team argued the letter of the Internal Employee Handbook, a document Elias had signed on day 1 6 years earlier, which stated that team members were forbidden from wagering on property during any period of active employment duties. They said his break was still duty. They said the uniform was proof. They said if they paid him, every casino in the state would have employees planting their friends at machines and gaming the system. Elias's lawyer, a scrappy attorney out of Carson City named Marisol Kettner, punched back with something the casino didn't see coming. She subpoenaed the internal scheduling logs, and she proved Elias had clocked out for meal break at 1:57:30, 30 seconds before he touched the machine. His card had swiped out. The system had logged it. He was, in the strictest interpretation of the timekeeping records, not on duty when he hit the button. The Gaming Commission reviewed it. 3 months of hearings. The eye-in-the-sky footage confirmed the timeline down to the second. And in January of 2020, they ruled in Elias's favor. The payout came in a structured annuity, because that's how these things almost always work. Not a lump sum, not a dump truck of cash. $27.4 million paid out over 25 years, at roughly $1.1 million per year before taxes. First check cleared his account in February. He didn't go back to work, obviously. But here's the twist nobody talks about. 6 months after the ruling, the Silver Meridian quietly changed its employee policy. They removed the language that let them dispute wins during meal breaks. Not because they got generous, because their insurance carrier told them the 14-month legal battle had cost them nearly $2 million in fees, and if they lost a bigger case down the line, the exposure would be catastrophic. Elias Vance now lives in a town nobody's heard of, drives a paid-off truck, and coaches his daughter's soccer team. He told a local paper one time, only once, that the money didn't change who he was. It just changed how tired he was at the end of the day. So here's the question I want you to sit with. If you're that pit boss, that manager, that lawyer, do you fight your own employee over a jackpot the machine legitimately paid? Or do you cut the check, shake his hand, and turn it into the best marketing story your property will ever have? Because one of those roads costs $2 million in legal fees, the other one costs you nothing but pride. Drop it in the comments. I'm curious which side of that room you'd be sitting on.